Welcome to Living God's Light, a podcast to help you strengthen your spirituality and your connection with God. We are so happy to have you as a part of the Living God's Light family.
Welcome to another episode of the Living God's Light podcast. I have with me Vinny Tolman and Alan Smith and Alyssa Dye, and we'll be introducing Alyssa here in a minute. We want to let you know that we're going to be making some changes to our podcast format. As you can tell, we're not all sitting around the same table. We want to do more episodes more often, and in order to do that, we need to do it electronically because we don't all live in the same place. So that's one of the things that we're going to change. There's some other things we'll mention at the very end that we are also looking at changing. Through all of this, let us know what you like. Let us know what isn't working for you as well. And if you'd like us to try something different, suggest it, and we'll see what we can do. We want to say thank you also to Lindsay, who's been with us on our previous episodes. She was a great part of the team and is still part of the team, but is focusing on other aspects. And so while she's on a sabbatical from the podcast, we'd like to welcome Alyssa. Alyssa, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got involved with Living God's Light.
Oh, man. Living God's Light is near and dear to my heart. And what is really amazing is that the route was through the book. You know, I found the book. I think it's coming up on 2 years, not even 2 years yet. It's only been a year and a half. The book was given to me and by Spirit, I would say. And it radically changed my life, so much to the point where it led me and my husband to go to the Living God's Light retreat that was hosted, which is where I met these amazing guys. And, you know, I really just say it's like God's hand has been through every step of getting me to this point where I'm sitting here with you guys. And so what I do is I'm helping more with the tech side, more of the social media outreach. And so if I've been the one editing the podcast episodes. I've been the one putting social media content up and really just help building, the social media arm of this, because it's an important role. So that's me. And part of my family, I guess I'll tell you about my family. So married, coming up on 13 years. We have 4 beautiful children. We live in southern Utah. We actually moved here right after the retreat, which was a big God's hand in our lives moment. And there's so much more to tell, but I'm sure it will unfold in time. So that's me.
Thank you for that. Alyssa's been doing a fantastic job behind the camera, and we managed to talk her into coming out in front of the camera. You may have seen her on one of the Q&As. She also helped out with there. She's multi-talented, and we're very blessed to have her helping us out with the mission.
Well, thank you. I really am happy to be here. So thanks.
Cool. And we'll talk about some of the other changes we have planned for the podcast at the end, but we want to dive into the message that we have planned. So coming up, there are, depending on where you live, actually, I think just about worldwide, the next couple months are usually full of a whole lot of holidays, regardless of what country you're in, what religious tradition you're part of. There are a lot of holidays, a lot of events. So what we're going to talk about is, with all of these things coming up, managing your energy through all of this. Vinny, what does that mean to you? And how do you manage? I mean, you're busy with a family and all kinds of responsibilities. How do you stay connected, stay sane with all of the demands on you?
For me, it's a matter of thriving versus surviving. So, I can survive and be okay, but I'm just not thriving the way that I like to. But during the holiday seasons, it's a time where you can choose to find the motivation to work hard throughout the rest of the year. And feeling these family gatherings, making them special, not by going over the top and grandiose with your plans, but making them special by really showing up and being present for your loved ones, and allowing that loving presence to be felt wherever you go throughout the holidays. To me, that's what you're able to do as you get ready to thrive. But for me, it starts with what I'm doing right when I wake up, and it finishes with whatever I'm doing right before I go to bed. The famous hour of power. It's vitally important. On top of that, eating really clean, drinking really clean, that allows you to put fuel in the engine. So when you're running on fumes, you can make it to the finish line, and that's a big part of thriving through the holidays for me. Yeah.
I love that. Ellen, how about you? How do you manage through the holidays?
So the holidays for me are a lot of fun. I'm the extrovert in the group, and I love being around people. For me, that is probably the funnest time of the year, is just getting to be out and enjoy people. But that can get overwhelming too. And it's a little different for us. Our kids finally moved back into the state last year. And so now we're managing other people's families too. We didn't usually have much of that because they were all out of state and we had to pick one side to go to or one of the others. So it's a little different for us. So we're trying to plan ahead. We're trying to make plans so that we're not last minuting things, because that tends to increase the stress level. And so we've been talking about what we're going to do for each of the holidays that we celebrate. And what does that mean for our family and for their families and for the extended groups that we all want to participate in. So I think planning ahead, making sure that it works for everyone, or, being okay with something that maybe doesn't work as well as you had expected. I think maybe letting go of some of those expectations and just enjoying the fact that you get to be with the people that you love is a great way to step into the holidays.
Awesome. Thanks. Alyssa, how about you?
Oh man. So I like to break this apart into two parts. So there's my work life, right? And then I've got my family life. And family life, this is the time when I go all in for them. I have little kids, 3 to 8 years old. So it is magical. Everything about this time of year is just magical. So this is the time when I kind of go all in on the traditions, right? And so I'm putting so much energy there that my work side kind of gets I just kind of slow down. And I can get really hard on myself for that, because I feel like I'm not, keeping up on the race, so to speak. And but I actually like to remember what nature does this time of year, at least in Northern America. Nature, it kind of goes dormant. It slows down, and it really conserves its energy so that it can spring back up in the spring. And so I really try to remember, take my cues from nature and don't go crazy, do what's required, keep it going, but we don't need to go gangbusters on the work side. This is the family time. This is the time to make those beautiful, loving memories. And, and even part of making beautiful memories is sometimes you got to cut out some of the stuff that isn't working for you too. And that's kind of been a great way for me to kind of rewrite and renew some of the traditions we have in our family. So it's been really great to, remember the work side and remember the family side.
Love that. I'm really glad that you mentioned in the Northern Hemisphere where it's in wintertime. And I'm sometimes thinking this is a great time of year for me to go visit the Southern Hemisphere.
Yeah.
I'm kind of the polar opposite of Alan in this case. I'm a pretty hardcore introvert, and also honestly get some seasonal depression. And I realized, and so I've been trying a few different things the last few years, and I've been working out. My wife discovered something last year that really helped, because there's so many social events and so many commitments and things that now that we're empty nesters and don't have a lot of kids that we need to shepherd along to the traditions, she would load the calendar up with absolutely everything so I could experience the joy of saying, I'm not going to do that one.
That's good.
And so it kind of became a running joke with us. Now we would attend some of them, but it would be like family. We attended all of the family events, kind of like Vinny said, having that connection with the family and some of the friends events. But if they were just big, huge, lots of people, social gatherings that I'm not really going to have an honest connection with somebody anyway, I would just stay home and have either some recharge time or doing some connection with family on a smaller level, which has been really good. One of the other things that I am working on doing, again, still meeting all of the family commitments, and those are all great. I love those. But I'm also working on, like Alyssa mentioned with the work projects, trying to get ahead of those. So between Thanksgiving and New Year's, I'll go into just like a maintenance mode instead of a build mode.
Yeah.
Where I'm not driving, not pushing, so I can kind of mirror nature in that regard of doing a little bit of hibernation, just keeping everything running, but not burning myself out. So we'll see how that goes. I'm kind of excited to give it a try.
I love that you're focused on that and that you're focused on doing some self-care during that time, because it's so important for so many people because they let themselves get overwhelmed. So I love that you're doing that, Lynn. I think that's really important.
Well, thanks. Vinny, what other thoughts do you have on that?
I feel the holidays, we don't know how many we get with our family. We just don't.
Yeah.
That's a fact of life. And we have two amazing opportunities with every gathering. Number one, we have the opportunity to go hide and still have fun at the gathering, which that's fun. But we can set an intention. We can actually tell ourselves, hey, yeah, it's going to be kind of a hassle to go see family, to drive, to fly or do whatever transportation you're arranging. But put an intention and say, you know what? Uncle so-and-so is having a rough time. I want to uplift that guy. I want to uplift Aunt Jane or whatever, put out an intention, and you'll be amazed. You can put the intention outwardly or inwardly, and you'll find that you end up achieving it, even as you just relax into it and just have fun. But also breathing. Just sit back, breathe, observe, and engage where you must, and engage where you orchestratingly can in a positive way, and you'll have a great holiday season. And I've been practicing that over the years, and I'm getting better and better every year about just enjoying the little things, the walk out to the car, the wrapping gifts or making food, whatever, just enjoying it, making it fun, playing jokes on people.
That reminds me of another thing that I like to do is because this is my wife's favorite time of year. And so I like to lean into her joy and what she likes. And so I like to do what I can to enhance her enjoyment of that. And that brings me joy.
I like that. You kind of sidecar her happiness, and you get to go along for the ride.
Mm-hmm. Well, and it also follows that, the principle of, when you get a chance to serve others and lift them up, it lifts you up. There's just no other way around it.
Absolutely.
Something you guys said made me think of something that happened at our house on Sunday. We had a birthday party for my grandson. He is on the autism spectrum, and we have a big family. And we had a lot of people in the house, and he gets really overstimulated. And so he ran in the other room right in the middle of opening presents. And so to get him to come back out, I went back in the other room and just said, hey, Bryce is not handling the noise really well. We'd love to have him come out and do birthday cake and blow out his candle. So I need everybody to be as quiet as they possibly can. And so we did it the way that worked for Bryce. And he came out and he blew out his candle, and he was super happy and was able to, manage that without all of the extra stimulation. So it just made me think, do the holidays and do the things the way they work best for you.
Mhm.
Make it fun, but do what works best for you so that it's not, again, over too much.
Love that.
I think pulling a page out of Lynn's book too, that you don't need to be at everything either. Make it enjoyable for you. And if you're feeling you're running thin, uncheck some of those boxes. Yeah, make it special for you as well.
Yeah, and I think it's good getting, like when Vinny, you mentioned the intention. Think also, you may have heard, the reason for the season, and I think that applies to whatever the holiday is.
Mhm.
Any religious tradition, whatever that is, take some time to meditate and reflect on what it means to you personally, and then connect that with how you interact with the holiday and with other people in the holiday.
Yeah.
Awesome. We haven't heard much from Alyssa over there in the corner.
Any other thoughts, Alyssa?
Oh, well, this is actually just a recent thing that I'm learning is that you can set boundaries around holidays. Like you can say, I love you. That particular time is not going to work for me. And this particular time will. So you guys do your thing and I'll show up at this time, just making it, because I've made myself crazy in the past to be at everything, to be there for everyone, when in reality, the people closest to me is what I really should have been spending my time doing. So I've actually been learning that it's okay to set boundaries around holidays, and it can still be special, but it actually makes me enjoy my holidays even more because I've learned to kind of put safety barriers around my time, around who my kids see, about what conversations I'm going to engage in and that type of thing. And, it kind of sounds like kind of this negative thing putting around the happy holidays, but I've really learned recently in the last couple of years that those boundaries actually make me happier. And I think we train people how to treat us, right? And so by doing so, they can have a new expectation of what they'll receive from me in the future. And then it just grows our relationship in a different way that's actually better, So
That's very wise.
it's coming to my mind. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, those are all wonderful thoughts, very wise and very useful thoughts as we go into the holidays. Alan, any last thoughts or comments on managing energy through the holidays?
I think taking a quiet moment for yourself when you're feeling your energy low, it's a lot harder to ground and manage that in the winter because the ground's frozen. You don't want to stick your feet in it. So finding ways to do that with a grounding mat or perhaps some stones that help you do that, or just some sort of a meditation that helps you get into that space is going to be amazing for you.
Cool. Vinny, any other thoughts?
I'd say choose to make every moment special with your attention and intention. And don't be afraid to change things up. Try different stuff, but make it special. We don't get a lot of these opportunities, and there will be a time, mark my words, there'll be a time you'll look back and think, why did I waste that opportunity? I had so many loved ones around me. I could have gone around and just really had a meaningful conversation with so many people. And like you, Alyssa, amidst all of that, prioritize the season, prioritize the time, and make sure you're not stepping over who matters most for those who you'll see once or twice a year. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you all. So as we get ready to wrap up this episode, I told you at the beginning, we'd mention a little bit more about some of the things we're going to be doing with the podcast. One of the things that we're looking at doing is having a Q&A every month. Not committing to doing it once a month, but maybe about that schedule. So if there's any questions that you've got, things that you'd like us to address or answer, feel free to put those in the comments. We'll collect those and roll them to the episodes where we do that. We will also be doing some interviews. So this year, expect that Alyssa has graciously agreed to kind of host and moderate that. So we'll be interviewing members of the Living God's Light team this year, and then we'll be inviting some other guests on early next year. So you'll get some of those additional perspectives, and again, give you a chance to experience some new things with us, and let us know what you like and what you'd like to see more of. And then the last thing that we'll mention is kind of a vision for Living God's Light as we go into 2025. There's a couple things that I've got in mind, but Vinny, anything that you want to share that you've got in mind, Living God's Light for 2025?
Well, me personally, I'm going to be shifting a lot of my work from the one-on-one sessions into more of the group events and more of the online events, so that a lot more people have access to the work that I do, and the work that I essentially represent with what I do. Yeah. So my shift is going to be towards really making an impact in a broader range. I feel like I've been blessed, tremendously blessed, to work one-on-one with amazing people, and now I get to step out into the unknown and start making a difference for more. Yeah.
That's fantastic. And tied to that, we're looking at also, so I know that includes the ability to create more content that we'll be sharing with you, with all of you as our listeners. And I will also be working on helping out with more of the written content, so our email newsletter will get a little more consistent and have more kind of invitations and things that kind of mirror what we're doing in the podcast. We just have a lot of stuff that we want to share with you. And then also with that, we are excited to help people build communities in their area. Part of that is with the workbook that's coming out very, very soon. It'll be available in November. And matter of fact, if you're watching this now, it might be available. So
Yeah.
go to livinggodslight.org and livinggodslight.org/workbook, and you'll see more information on that there. I think that's everything we've got for this time. Alyssa, anything you want to share?
No, I'm just really excited the direction we're going. I'm super excited.
Cool. Alan, any thoughts?
Just that we love everyone, and we're so appreciative of your time that you spend with us. And please reach out. We would love to hear from you and the things that you're working on, and how we can support you in that.
Thank you. Vinny, any last thoughts?
We love you guys. We love each other. We really love this work. And we love that I speak for myself, but I also speak for us inclusively. I think that we love that we get to be a part of this. I feel that I am blessed to be a part of this mission. And I do feel it's a mission to reach out and let everyone know that they can everyone have a personal relationship with their Creator.
Thank you. Yes, we love you all, and we're very grateful that you are also along on this journey with us. Until next time, take care. Manage your energy well through the holidays. And if you're listening to this outside of the holidays, just in everything else too. We love you and appreciate you, and we'll catch you next time.
Thank you for joining us on the Living God's Light podcast. You can help keep the show going through getting merch at livinggodslight.com, or contributing what you think the show is worth on our website, or by going through Patreon. Thank you for sharing your light with the world. You are making a difference, and we love you.